Shane, I saw the Seth Smith got a decision. I was just a little confused. Is that for this year or this year and next year?
My impression was this year. We felt confident all along. I may be completely wrong on that. We felt confident all along, but there was still this finality to it that we had to find out. So we got word on that. I think last Thursday I got a call about that. So excited, but that was my impression for this year. So if it's for next year too, awesome.
How relieving is it to have that in hand now after the face-off mess last summer?
It's good because I was at this event last year, and that's all anybody wanted to talk about. And when I met with you guys, that's what y'all wanted to talk about. So it's nice to have that done. Appreciate NCAA working with us. Kudos to Erin Abbey and our compliance office and all the work her and her team put in to get that done and have that behind us.
Outside of the rain, how's the golf event earlier this week and being able to kind of reminisce with some of the coaches, especially Coach Spurrier as well?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Peach Bowl always puts on an amazing event. It's something that I look forward to every year. It's a first-class event. It's great to be able to spend time with the other current coaches and their wives, that Emily and I have gotten to know. That's always fun. And then the group of former coaches that are there too, just being able to, talk to them and pick their brains. And it's a lot of fun. So it's great seeing Coach Spurrier, great seeing all those other coaches. It was Gary Stoken, who heads up the Peach Bowl. It was his last one because he's retiring, so they really brought everybody back. So it was neat to fellowship with those coaches for a couple days, and I hate that we got rained out, but it was still a great time.
Not sure if you're allowed to talk about it, but I guess after you saw over the summer, was there an impetus for you to want to add a kicker in the transfer portal and beef up your special teams unit?
Yeah, really, we wanted to add depth. It wasn't ideal for us going into a season with only 2 kickers on scholarship, or 2 kickers in the program, really, just from a leg standpoint. You got to be careful, not one only having 2 in case there's an injury, but also just wearing them out, making sure they're not kicking too much in August and things like that. So most programs I've been around had, at least 3 guys that could be place kickers. And then when you talk about Max Kelly, Max is place kicking, he's kicking awesome, he's also working as a punter, so you want to be smart with how much you're doing with him. So to be able to add someone else and add some depth to that room was something that we wanted to look into if it was the right guy available. We didn't just want to go, find somebody to find somebody. It had to be the right guy. Felt good about, I think I can talk about it, what we've been able to do or hypothetically about to do.
At that safety spot, obviously Peyton Williams is returning with experience as a starter, but at that other spot, did you see some separation there in camp, or how would you assess that battle there?
Yeah, I like that group. I finished exit meetings with all the players yesterday, and in meeting with those safeties, that's really the conversation that I've had is I'm excited to see how that competition goes throughout the summer. If you say, okay, Peyton's a starter and we can depend on him, and he knows he's got to continue to earn it over the summer. But now you're talking about, Jazavian Currents and David Busey and Kendall Daniels, and we may end up working. Tristan Lewis was working at corner in the spring. We may end up moving him back there to create some more depth. So it's not ideal from a depth standpoint, but separation, not really. I felt like David Busey's a really good football player that we're excited about. He took the majority of the work with the first group during the springtime, but to say that he's the starter right now, we're not there yet. Currents had a great spring. Kendall Daniels is really coming on. So I like that group and the way they're developing, and eager to see how they separate themselves over the summer. That it's a big competition, and they got a lot of work to do, all of them, to separate themselves.
You're joking around a couple of weeks ago that Hunter was talking about maybe at Augusta or maybe at these events that people maybe talk about the 4-8 record last year.
Yeah.
What are you telling fans, not necessarily here, but just throughout the summer, why they should be confident going into next year?
Yeah, one, the group of guys that we have, we're a year older. We've got more seniors. We've got even more leadership. It's a strong statement, I feel, about the culture in our program, that coming off a disappointing season, the easy thing now in college athletics is everybody to bounce and go somewhere else, and everybody stayed. I mean, guys that are here tonight that could have gone anywhere in the country that are here still at Carolina. And just the group, nobody wants to hear how close we were, but we went into every game last season in the fourth quarter with a chance to win it. And we didn't coach or play well enough in the fourth quarter, but, we were right there. And with some new coaches that we've brought in, the players that have returned, the new players that we've brought in, portal-wise, freshman-wise. It's just a very mature group, and like the way they've gone about their business since January.
I know you can't talk about them specifically, but a couple commits leading into your big official visit weekend, first big official visit weekend. How do you feel the momentum is kind of building in terms of high school recruiting going into this week?
I like it. It's guys had a chance to come to Columbia during the spring and see us practice. That helped. Our coaches are on the road recruiting right now, so that helps. The buzz and the energy they're creating, and having a chance nowadays with the rule changes. You can do home visits now, so coaches being able to go on the road and then actually go into homes and things like that, which our coaches are doing, literally as we speak in a lot of ways. So I like the momentum. Got a big recruiting weekend starting tomorrow, I think, with 11 guys coming in tomorrow, and then 3 more in the month of June. But the summer, knock on wood, has always been good to us, and feel confident that this year will be again too, with the buzz and the energy that we have going on right now.
Kind of surprised he's not going there for his doctorate, but how has Luke Doty been since he transitioned to your coaching staff?
Yeah, Luke's been great. He's an offensive guy, but I think I did it when I first got into coaching. I think, if you want to coach offense, to be able to go on the defensive side of the ball and learn defense. That was mind-blowing for him when he went to defense and saw all the things that we do and how intricate it can be in certain coverages and things like that. And then it's good for Clayton White and our defensive coaches to have a guy in that room with an offensive perspective too. But he's been great. He works his rear end off. He's passionate about Carolina. He's passionate about Gamecock football, obviously. Works really, really hard as a coach. He's going to be a good one, and that transition has been easy. I remember talking to his parents at our end of the season banquet, how much I was going to miss him, but wanted to do everything in my power to keep him around if he wanted to. And thankfully he wanted to, and that was an easy decision to bring him back.
What went behind the decision to bring in a in-house kind of mental coach, and how did you find him, and what are you hoping to get out of it?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is there's a lot on these student athletes nowadays. Always has been, and now there's a money element. College football is getting bigger and bigger and things like that. So I just, there were moments last season, Jordan, where some of the things on the field that were physical, that I remember saying to myself, like, that's not him. Like, something's going on right in there for that guy not to make that play, or for that guy to, the A&M game comes to mind, just some of the mistakes we made. And ultimately that's on me, but just some of the mistakes that we made mentally and physically by older guys. And I just said to myself, you know what? Every professional team, I feel like, has some sort of like sports performance type coach. We have mental health professionals on our campus that work with our student athletes. But I talked to Jeremiah and Jeff Crane about it, really going back to November, that I really wanted to get somebody in here that was in-house around the team and in every team meeting and was available for the coaches to help them, how they structure their meetings and things like that. So that's what I wanted to do. Reached out to some people that work for some pro teams, NFL and Major League Baseball, just kind of feeling them out. I did it during the off week. I remember sitting at the beach on a Saturday and having a conversation with a couple of pro sport guys about this is what I'm thinking. Do you have some names? And went through a bunch of names and talked to a bunch of people, and I really kind of wanted somebody that had been in professional football or professional sports in general, not necessarily football. Ended up connecting with Marius, who we hired. He's got a military background. I was like, you know what, if he can work with the performance aspect of people who's literally, they're risking their lives for our country, he sure as heck can work with 18-year-old, 19-year-old football players. And then he had been with pro baseball too, with the Marlins. So just something that I felt like was another edge. And if it just helps a kicker make a kick, if it helps a punter make a great punt, if it helps Lenoris make a great throw, whatever it might be, we all have our processes, and he's really good from just helping guys with the processes and stuff, if that makes sense. Yep.
I guess you hear it throughout the season, but events like this throughout the state, kind of what does it mean to you to hear these fans that come out, kind of what Carolina kind of means for them?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Like Jeremiah and I were talking the other night. We were in Spartanburg, and he and I were talking about it. And it's just, you hear all the negative about what's going on with college athletics, but nights like these are a great reminder of what's great about college athletics, and that hasn't changed. And it's the fan base. There's no one better than Carolina fans and Gamecock Nation, and to have this event, to be able to come out, spend time with them, hear their stories, feel their passion. They were telling me tonight's basically, not basically, it's a sellout, and to have hundreds of people out here tonight just to hear from the student athletes and coaches is pretty cool. It's something that I really, truly look forward to each and every year. And then having the opportunity to come to the Low Country and do it in Charleston, and even better.
Coach, we appreciate it.